former president is still a member of the ANC, and to better understand the political implications of this moment, we are now joined by the president of the ANC Veterans League, Ubaba Snuki Zikalala, who joins us now via Zoom. Baba Zikalala, I would imagine that this is a difficult period for the ANC. On the one hand, you have to, as a party, to respect the rule of law and also in the institutions of democracy, but at the same time, you can't help but feel pity for your former president. How do you think the ANC is handling or should handle this particular period, Baba Zikalala?
Good evening, Zuma, and good evening to your viewers. It is a difficult period for the African National Congress, especially if we have our former president, who was part and parcel of the liberation struggle, who was in the trenches with us, and who was part and parcel of those who penned the constitution that we have. And of course, he became the president of the country, and now he's been sent back to jail for contempt of court. And so we are saying that it's a pity that it came to this end. Though we tried our level best, the African National Congress made it very clear during the Newzroom conference that all of us must support the State Capture Commission, and all of us, if we are requested to appear before the Zondo Commission, we must do so, irrespective of who it is. And so the former president decided not to do so, and we as a Veterans League tried our level best to interact with him, but we are not able to do so. A number of comrades interacted with him, but the comrade was not keen to appear before the state capture. And so what else can we do? We believe in the rule of law. We are saying all of us are equal before the law. And as the African National Congress, will definitely make sure that we support whatever judgment is there, because we feel that the judgment was not biased, it was fair. And the comrades violated the rule of law. And so what else can we do?
Sure.
And so it's a pity that we came to this, and it's really unfortunate. But we are saying that we all believe in the rule of law, and we all have to defend this constitution, because people died for this constitution to be there. People laid their lives. People sacrificed for them to be where we are. And so we cannot disappoint the majority of South Africans who made sure that we have this constitutional democracy that we have today. We have to defend our constitutional democracy. That's what is important.
And picking up on that last point, that people died for this constitution, that it had to come to this. I mean, someone might argue, in fact, I mean, I will say it out, that the former president is basically the author of his own misery. Given the ANC's stance on the Zondo Commission and also its respect for the Constitution, should it not, ANC then not come out strongly in condemning action similar to that of the former president in defying the court?
Well, the ANC has made it clear that the president must appear before the State Capture Commission. It was very unambiguous about that everybody should do so. But any individual who refuses to do so, well, must face the might of the law. And so there have to be consequences in any country, especially in this country. I think this sends a strong message that those who violate the rule of law should be dealt harshly, irrespective of who you are. And so we are saying it's unfortunate. It's our comrade who has done so. But what can you do? That's the fate he decided. And of course, he has been playing what you call victimhood all the time. But he should have gone to the State Capture Commission. You should have faced the consequences, because immediately if you're a president, you sign statutes. You must abide by those. There has to be consequences. There has to be what you call consequence management in everything that we have done. Right now, we're looking at the looting of state coffers, millions and billions of rands, and some people must be held to account. And so it's good that we started at the head. It's good that there is now accountability, and a lot of, especially the young people, they'll be afraid to be involved in malfeasance, because they know that there are consequences in this country.
Now, given the fact that he's been given 5 days to hand himself over to the police, failing which he would effectively be arrested, what would your message be, or your, your message be to him during flowing from that court judgment?
what message can we say to him, to be honest with you? And he decided to not to appear. What else can you say, to be honest with you?
I mean, advice on what he must do about
Well, he said he'll go to jail if need be, and so what else can we say? Because that's what he chose. And so if he had not chosen that, it was something else. He said, I'd rather go to jail rather than appearing before the State Capture Commission. And so then the Constitutional Court have laid down the judgment. And so it must be complied with. That's all that we are saying. We'll support all judgments that are pitted against those who are found wanting as African National Congress, because we are saying we definitely were all equal before the law, and you have to make sure that we defend our constitutional gains.
Now, we've heard some statements coming from the Veterans Association, and I think it's important to make the distinction between the Veterans League, which you lead, which is a constitutional structure, and the League of the ANC, and the Veterans Association, which is an association which is linked to the ANC. It's a leader there, Kebima Pat, was saying that the former president must defy that ruling. And also we had Edward Zuma outside Gandla saying that he would kill for his father, they would defend his father. Now, those kinds of statements coming, some of them from ANC leaders and others from ANC members, and filtering down to the public, they may tend to create some kind of confusion. What would you say in response to those kind of irresponsible statements?
Well, I think it's irresponsible, especially for MKMVA and keeping my parts where they are not a political party. They are not a political party. They are a former armed wing of the African National Congress, and they take instructions from the African National Congress. And so they've got no authority to give command or tell people what to do. That they don't have. I think they are punching above their weights. And I think it's high time that the African National Congress deal with this matter, because we have only one leadership within the African National Congress. It's an NEC of the African National Congress. It's the one that is leading the African National Congress, and it's headed by one president, and who's President Cyril Ramaphosa. And we have only one spokesperson of the African National Congress, is Bule Mabe. I'm representing the ANC Veterans League. And so I think it's irresponsible for them to say that he should not submit himself. It's really irresponsible. It's unacceptable, and should not be taken lightly. I think the African National Congress must look into this matter deeply and deal with those who are saying that people should not obey the law. The African National Congress should do that, because people join the African National Congress voluntarily, and they agree with the constitution of the African National Congress. If they feel that the African National Congress is no longer their home, they've got the right to leave instead of.
And Babu Zikalala, and how should the African National Congress deal with a spectacle? I'm sure we will see this. We've seen it before, where ANC leaders are sentenced, where they are hoisted shoulder high. And I'm sure, given the support that we've seen for the former president, and also given the position of the ANC in one of its NEC meetings, where it spoke against people being supported in court, what would you say in this particular instance the ANC should do with that kind of behavior? Because we will see some ANC members mobilizing around Nkandla.
Well, those who want to do so, let them do so on their own, but they are not instructed by the African National Congress to do so. That's an individual act, and so I think it's up to them to do that. But the African National Congress is not going to stop individuals to go there as an individual, not as an organized member of the African National Congress. It cannot happen. It should not happen, because we are all saying that there's a judgment. We should obey the judgment and make sure that whoever has been sentenced must definitely abide by the judgment, especially the court ruling. But those who support him as individuals, not as a structure of the African National Congress, it's up to them. But structures of the African National Congress cannot do that.
And of course, you made the point about the importance of this ruling for our democracy, but also politically. I mean, we've seen a lot of anarchy in society, and I think the point that the court emphasized today was that the rule of law must be respected. Do you believe that this judgment kind of reinforces that point, that even at a political level, regardless of who you are, everyone has to abide by the court? Do you think it restores the image of the court?
It definitely does. It does restore the image of the courts. It does make sure that people should abide by the rule of law. It does make sure that our constitutional democracy should be protected and defended. It does make people to respect our courts and our judgments. That's very important. That no one should think that you can just violate our judgments and our rules in the country. It should not be allowed to happen.
Now, just before I let you go, Babu Zikalala, you've made the point about the looting of state coffers and the Zondo Commission, which has been hearing that evidence. And we do know that tomorrow is the final day. I have to squeeze in this question where the SIU is handing over that report to President Ramaphosa regarding the Digital Vibes contract at the Department of Health. And obviously that is probably what will inform the President's decision whether the health minister stays or goes. But at an ethical level and at a political level, and given the allegations, does it not make sense for the health minister to just leave without him being fired, given just the prima facie evidence that we've had in relation to the Digital Vibes contract?
Well, it depends how is he going to defend himself. And if he can see that the odds are piled up against himself, I think he should just do an honorable thing. But if he feels that he can be able to defend himself against the SIU investigations, then let him do so. But we believe that the president, as you know, that we won these elections on anti-corruption campaign, and so whoever is found wanting, whoever is found to have colluded with corruption, must definitely face the consequences, because that's how ordinary people, ordinary South Africans voted for the African National Congress to be in power, and that the African National Congress to govern on their behalf.
Right. Thank you very much for your time. That was Dr. Snuki Zikalala, who is the president of the ANC Veterans League. And once again, they are not to be confused with the Veterans Association.